this is Ricki Spencer and welcome to Channel 31 Bent TV. We're here today for a special announcement about a wonderful new short film made by an aspiring media producer, Jess.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be sitting back in here in the studio with you again.
This film, which is Ricki's Place, is based on a story that's quite personal, my story. But I think the story signifies a lot for other people who may be trans and gender diverse, trying to find their identity in the community.
When I decided that I wanted to make a short film, I wanted to make a story that was really about human connection and about a community that is really vulnerable and how resilient your beautiful gender diverse and trans community are. So it's a story about you primarily, as well as we get to hear from another gender diverse person who lives in regional Victoria. So it was really incredible actually to hear from you and to speak with you so many times and just to hear your story about housing insecurity and how that's affected you because of your intersectional identity.
One of the things that I think sometimes people don't understand, they think that housing is something that it's there, it's available, it's just a matter of applying. But for some people, it's more than that. It could be biases that occur. And if you don't look a certain way, you don't sound a certain way, if you're older, if you belong to a different cold community, it can impact how you can access it. And when you are someone like myself who's older, who's trans, who's indigenous, you throw all that mix, it makes it very difficult to find somewhere to call home.
That's really what the overarching theme of this is. It's about belonging and about that ability to get home and go, I'm safe here and this is my space where I can be myself.
What were some of the challenges that you found when you're trying to tell someone's story? Because you have to edit it, and so what were some of your challenges?
So I got a lot of footage of you. I came and visited you in your home maybe 3 times and got a lot of footage around your home, which is the most incredible thing. And I'm so pleased that, you know, that's something that you will have, is just that documentary footage of your beautiful home that you had for so many years, because I know that you have all of these incredible objects in your home as well that make it feel like a place where you belong and that you have a connection to these objects. So it was really such an honour to come into your space and be able to tell that story. But having so many beautiful things to shoot means that you get a lot of footage. And that's one of the things that we do as filmmakers and media producers, is when we go out and shoot, we always shoot more footage than we need, because if you don't have enough, then that's a way bigger problem than having too much. So picking all of the shots and all of the beautiful, incredible, inspirational things that you said that managed to stay in the film was definitely one of the challenges.
As you're speaking, you know, it sort of touched my heart, because the other day I was feeling so sad that in some ways I had to leave that place because of the spiraling rent, and I had to give up so much of myself through my artifact. And the fact that you have captured this on film, it gives me something to hold on to for the rest of my life, that I can look back and at least try and relive through those imagery some of the beautiful things that I've collected, you know, for the past 50 or so years of my life that have meant so much to me as a human being. So, you know, that gift you've given me is priceless, and I hope for other people who are in their journey of trying to find affordable housing that they can see that there is hope at the end of the tunnel. It just takes time, and sometimes you never know where you'll end up to be. It's a journey that takes us, and you just have to hang in there.
Can I ask, Ricki, what was that experience like for you, having someone like me come into your home and ask all of these questions? What was that like?
At first, a little bit overwhelming, because it made me come to the surface and start thinking about the inevitable, that I had to leave, that something was finishing. And for myself, you know, living with autism and liking structure, liking things, having them the same, it sort of challenged me a little bit about, okay, I have to start realizing that this is going to end in a different way. And I just sort of had to adapt to that. But I enjoyed the fact that I was able to live in the moment as I was speaking with you. And I can still now, as I close my eyes, remember the day and the beautiful sun and going through the different areas of the garden. And I'll never lose that because they'll always stay with me in my memory and in the winds. You know, whenever it's windy outside where I am now, I'll think of the times when you were there filming. So I'll never lose the memories of it. It was cathartic because it made me also realize that, you know, we're only on this earth for a short time. We can make the most of it and to really live each moment.
I think the thing that we always aspire to as kind of filmmakers and media producers is that every interview feels just like a natural conversation. And I think that I've always felt that with you whenever you interview people, but even, you know, when I was asking you questions, it just felt like we were just having a chat over a coffee, which I think was really special. And I think we really bonded a lot during that experience.
I agree. And I feel that, you know, having you come into my space and having, you know, the audience that will come into my space will see that, you know, I'm just another, I'm not perfect. You know, some people might say, you know, maybe I'm a bit of a hoarder, a clutterer. Maybe I've got too many cats. But for me, that's been my life journey. That's where I am today at my age. And I think there's something about, you know, when we get older and we try and find our identity, or we struggle sometimes and we rely so heavily on our homes as security and safety, where we can build ourselves and create the best version of ourselves. And when we realize the fragility of our home, that we might lose it, it makes us start to think about, well, who am I really? And that was scary for me, but also it showed me through the process of being involved with you in the film that, you know, we are all in our own way resilient and survivors.
Your story is just so impactful as well, and the way that you speak is just so human. When people see that, they will see you as a person. They won't see a transgender person. They won't see a neurodivergent person. They won't see a person who is First Nations background. They will see Ricki. That's what I hope, that people can see you, and that you're just a beautiful person who likes beautiful things and wants everybody to be happy.
Oh, thank you. And I mean, you know, Ricki's place can be your place, you know. It can be, imagine yourself in that situation, you know. It's to give everyone hope that, you know, we don't know what tomorrow can bring. So sometimes we have to make the most of every moment we have. And maybe hopefully that other people can also see, you know, people in government and that when it comes to, you know, developing social housing, that they really consider the needs of people like myself, that all we really want is just 4 walls to call home, and just live out the rest of our life in a safe place, you know, with our pets and our little things that give us meaning.
Yeah, I always wondered, what does love mean to me? I've never really experienced love, never had love. I don't have an answer for you because I don't even know what, never experienced it. I guess if you had it, you'd know. I guess you'd feel maybe warmth or I've never had it, so I don't even know what it is. Ricki Spencer, my pronouns are she and her. I'm turning 56 in about 4 days' time. I've had a long, interesting journey to be where I am today. It's taken me approximately 48 years before I was able to finally live the life I've always wanted to live and be allowed to speak the way I wanted to speak. I've lost a few people in the past along my journey. But the most thing I've gained is myself. I've gained a sense of myself. I no longer have to hide in the person that I used to be. I can now be who I want to be. But to me, it sort of comes at a price. I've had to pay for this. And I guess I'm prepared to pay that price. I can tell you the story for each single item that I obtained or I found discarded, and I wanted to give them a home. I wanted to give them a new sense of identity and belonging. They will stay with me for as long as I'm on this earth, because I think that while you're on this earth, you should really surround yourself with things to make you happy. It can really help you connect with your inner self. I always think of myself as a fractured human being. I'm somebody that thought I was one person, but from my earliest memories, and this goes back to when I was an infant, I always felt there was something missing, there's something wrong. I always have this belief that, we're all put on this earth and we float around like energies. And then I was put into the wrong space and time. And when I was adopted or taken away from my mum, it kind of took me to a journey that it's a whole lifetime of fighting just to be myself and to have a voice. And the ironic thing is that, when I was growing up, the thing that people hated the most thing about me was my voice. They said it was very feminine, so it wasn't very masculine, and didn't conform to the binary notions of what a male would sound like. So I really couldn't hide in the body that I was assigned to at birth. The hardest thing was, of course, is that the ridicule came from the people that were supposed to care for me the most. So I always felt alone, but now at 50, coming up to 56, I'm actually comfortable being alone. I actually thrive on being alone. So maybe there was a purpose for being treated or indoctrinated into the belief that I needed to behave a certain way. My intersectionality could be crossed between indigenous, trans, disability, aging, poor. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to feel like, I guess for some people like me, there is never a sense of community. So you keep trying to find something. Yeah. I don't know. It's just every time I feel like I'm trying to connect with someone. Is there someone out there? Is there a place I could be or live or something that maybe is different? I mean, I kind of love Rome at the moment. I'm kind of in a suburban setting. I love being at West Footscray. It's it's sort of, you can be yourself, but I feel as though I'm being kind of priced out. And then I'm thinking, I really would like to go somewhere to another area. I always wanted to look at places like Ballarat or Bendigo, or, even somewhere further, like, I don't know, Shepparton.
My name's Jacq and my pronouns are they, them. I'm the Secretary of Golden Valley Pride and a local to the Golden Valley area my entire life. Growing up in a small town, 8 k's from Shepparton, was an interesting experience. I distinctly remember, probably by high school, deciding that I didn't find men attractive. And I knew that people got bashed and were called puffs and lesos and, all the fun stuff. when you're in the late 90s in high school. And I think there's still some people who are frightened to find community. And if I don't create that visibility, if I don't rage against the machine, if I don't have existence through resistance, then if I don't have it, there's many other people who will never get it. And I think it's the same for all of us. I think it makes me proud, and I think when you have to live with this layer and level of discrimination and correcting people and explaining things and not being able to explain things, not wanting to explain things and hearing about other stuff, other people's stuff, then when someone just makes that stuff easy and says, yeah, sure, no worries, what are we putting for agenda, or like, you know, that kind of thing, it's the thing that fills your cup when your cup's emptied by the transphobia and the homophobia is the loveliness.
Cats are great company. Yeah, I don't know if it's the autism or that, but there's something about the way they communicate I can really relate to. Just when I feel like I have some sense of who I am in peace, you know, like I spoke a few months back, I think we were talking, and I was sort of really excited, sort of thinking, you know, I think I could be happy here. To then sort of be told 2 months ago that the kids of the owner are selling their house, and then I've got this feeling, innate feeling, that where I'm living now, they're going to probably sell the house anyhow on me, and oh, geez, where do I go? You know, it's where do I plan? You know, and it's like part of me is hoping that housing will find me somewhere that's, and maybe I'm being selfish to think I'd love a little place with a garden, you know, even if it's one little front yard or near a park, so at least I can be near, you know, flora and fauna. But it's like, I don't know, I just feel kind of like forgotten. Like maybe I shouldn't have done what I did in my life journey to I am. I'm doubting it now, you know. I'm having self-doubt, and I go through waves of depression, you know, where I'm not sleeping, I'm just thinking about everything, and you know, sometimes you think, you know, it's easy to almost say, well, if I don't wake up in the morning, I don't wake up, and then you don't have to deal with the, you know, what the uncertainty. Nice to meet you.
You too, but we got to do it first.
Yeah, I know, but now we've connected, which is fabulous.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to organise this stuff all the time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I have health issues, so it's always a bit harder for me traveling and stuff. And then, you know, I always get a bit paranoid with how people might react to me. I think your area is lovely. I haven't been to Shepparton. I think once I went about 12 years ago or 14, but that was when I was working as a social worker. And yeah, I was a social worker for about 25 years. I wanted to know too, what's it like living out in Shepparton if you are someone who's trans and gender diverse? Like, do you think that if someone is, like, say, my age was to work, what would you say?
We have a little group of trans and gender diverse humans of, oh goodness, all age spectrums. I guess sometimes those of us who are like 35, 40 and over sit
Yeah.
for it. We don't necessarily mix with the young'uns.
Okay.
But we do as well. Like we had the greatest Trans Justice Project protest that 4 of us
Oh,
had no energy and had 70 people there.
that's incredible.
Yeah. So it's actually not a bad place, really.
What about like walking down the street? Like, say, if someone like me was to go there, would I just be seen as just another person, or
Yeah,
it,
I met my
how
friends
does that work?
had a crappy experience, but I hear about it far less than my Melbourne friends, who I would say have more.
Wow, I've really enjoyed this. It's given me a much more I feel more at peace now. It's not as strange and scarier as I thought it was going to be. I thought, like the way you're saying it, it's really you don't you could include as much as you want or as little as you want, and yet still be part of the community and not be totally isolated, which to me sounds wonderful. And the fact that there's health supports and that understand, it's just so wonderful. Like to me, it feels safe. You're creating a safe city and connected. It's been wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm still here. I'm still alive. I still have so many things to do. I don't know. I just still wonder about will I be able to meet someone maybe? Is there a possibility? Or if that's not, then this is it, you know? And maybe you just have to be happy with this is your journey, you know? But I'm a big believer in things when you die pass over to some other form of energy. So maybe my energy will be happy just to be float around like the air somewhere and just, I don't know, just to feel some sort of electric sense of movement or something. But the reality is we're all here for one life journey and embrace that. We've got to be less judgmental about ourselves and just really appreciate the moment, because it'll be gone before we blink, you know? Who knows? Could be watching this and I might be gone. But in this moment, what I'm feeling right now, sitting down in the air, I'm enjoying it because one day it might not be. So I want to enjoy every moment and take in every second of the wind, the sounds, the smells. And that's what I would hope other people can do too.
When we filmed this, you were facing a real crisis of housing insecurity, and you were very unsure of what was going to happen. So there has been a development, I know, since we wrapped up the film and since I finished the edit. So tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you.
Yeah, so after we finished the filming, and it was remarkable, about 2 weeks after, I did get a call for a property that became available. I think it's just like a gift from the heavens, because, you know, it also has a little garden. I can make it my own, and, you know, I can just stay there till I die, basically, which it's not meant to be morbid, but just that sense of I finally found home. I finally can be myself. I can not worry about, you know, constant inspections, constant rental increases, that I won't be homeless. And to me, that's, maybe this was all a journey, and it's kind of bizarre that it came all from this meeting and making this film with you. I never would imagine that I would have been moving and this whole thing planned and it ended up happening that I moved. And although I was sad to say goodbye to my home, but the fact that you have captured it for me on film, it's given me a hope to know that good things happen, and to believe in yourself, and the universe will come and reward you.
When we spoke, you talked a lot about death, and I felt very much that the way you wanted it to come across was exactly how it came across. I know that for you, the idea of thinking about your death is not something that's morbid. It's something that's quite hopeful, that you wanted to have. You wanted to have a good death in a place where you feel yourself.
Absolutely. You know, for me, it's being close to the water. You know, I'm close to, you know, a church, all these things that have such symbols of beliefs about me. It's coming together. I don't have a fear of dying, and I guess I never had. But for me now, I can just live out the rest of my life in a way that how I've always wanted to be, safe and not worried that I'm going to be thrown out on the street because of an increase in rent. And that's my message, that, you know, for everyone listening, to really take the time to look after your friends and family, and never take for granted life, because you never know the challenges that it can bring you.
And I think that's something that I always come away from, you know, having a conversation with you, or even watching you interviewing other people on Channel 31 or through your other work as well, is that you have such hope and optimism, and you just have such a positive message to share with people. So thank you for that.
And thank you, Jess, for giving me that opportunity to share a part of my life that will hopefully help others maybe find themselves and their home, that give them that hope that they too will get their forever home. It's been wonderful to speak with Jess, and thank you for taking the time to listen to my story through the lens of Jess, the filmmaker, the incredible journey of Ricki's Place, finding home and hope when there were times when I didn't think there was hope to be found.